What is going on, beautiful people? Cold front back in action. Sorry about earlier. Told you I had some things to do, had a meeting. So I wanted to get back into this. This is going to be a relatively short one as we are already 10:30 in the evening and it is entirely way past my bedtime. However, I said I wanted to get back on here and go through a couple of things that we that we had seen some people that we follow go through. Really cool website as a draft capital and or salary cap. Um, Predictor calculator, just like the playoff machine that ESPN had going on, and they use and have available to the public throughout the year to predict certain games and see what a playoff picture would look like. They do the same thing. Well, it's not ESPN, but overthecap.com is a salary cap calculator, which is fantastic. So we've been playing with this a little bit here lately, and what it does, and I want to go through this here based on our conversations earlier that we had. I'm going to bring this up and let's play around. These are the possible options for the Buffalo Bills to actually build in some available funds. I think that they will actually have funds for this year, well before, well, I'm hoping well before the draft, for reasons of trading up or trading down, depending on whichever route they want to go, but before the draft actually starts. So, first of all, for some reason, I do not know why, but that mic was muted. So I apologize. Just want to let you know where we're at in case I don't know when that got cut off. Basically, what we're looking at here is a calculator that is mimicking ESPN's playoff machine that they use throughout the year. That's up on their website to allow you to go in and pick games and winners of games throughout the season, and then see what type of seeding that would create for the playoff picture. You can start that pretty much at any time. I think they have that live throughout the year. This is another really cool website that I saw somebody that I follow along with their social media content quite often. Used this the other day with his understanding or predictions of what the Bills will do with some of their roster in order to free up money. And quite frankly, looking at this, even though we're not in the greatest spot as of today, depending on some moves they can make, the Bills can get into a pretty good situation and get there relatively, I think, with some ease. 9999, what's up, brother? Curtis Samuel and Dawson Knox could be cap casualties. Yes, possibilities, but I'm going to show you here how it actually might be a little bit easier than we would think. And this does not necessarily mean just solving, world peace here and coming up with the one way that no one else will be able to come up with to create some more money. But let's get into it. And we can use Dawson Knox here as the first example because the Oxys here used him. So here we are, $7.5 million under the salary cap of $303 million, assuming that will be what it will be for 2026. I still think that there's a little bit more of a range. Excuse me. I think it's going to be more so between, I want to say 302 and 310. However, this I think is good enough for this purpose, and it's pretty much spot on. I want to say spot on, but it's pretty close to where it'll be. The NFL.com says 5 days ago that the projected cap is anywhere between 301 and 305. So 301.2 and 305.7. That said, I think this 3032 number, basically right in the middle, I think it's a great way to go about this. So let's take a look, shall we? We're going to use Dawson Knox as the first example. Where is it here? Excuse me. Stop me if did we pass by him already? Okay, there it is. I totally missed him. All right, so what we see here is base salary for Dawson Knox, $9.9 million. Prorated bonus, $5 million. Okay, non-prorated, $2 million. Total cap number of $17 million this year. That's a pretty hefty number for Dawson Knox. We can all agree on that. And there's been rumblings here lately that Dalton Kincaid will undoubtedly get his fifth-year option, if not even a larger extension sooner rather than later. That said, it's because of his still existent and relatively positive play this year, in my opinion, that Dawson Knox is deserving of getting the question marks out of the way and getting the question marks out of the way early. Okay, so that being said, let's take a look. What are the options here? Dead money. So if they were to get rid of him, they would still owe $7.4 million this year. Hold on a second. Camera got a little out of whack. So what that means is if they were to let him go or trade him or anything, if he leaves, they still owe him $7.4 million this year, which is the prorated bonus here plus the non-prorated bonus. All right. Now, the base salary is what the next team would have to pick up in the event that he gets signed somewhere else, meaning let go and or traded even. So out of this 17 million, 7.4 is necessary for the Bills to pay regardless of how they get rid of him if in the event that they do. So why don't we go, we're going to click here and we're going to go to some kind of we're going to restructure, excuse me, Dawson Knox. And what that does is it brings, okay, excuse me, I'd have to submit this, takes his base salary of 8.6, I'm sorry, down to 8.6, his non-prorated bonuses to 2 million. If we were to restructure that, we now owe him $9.9 million. Okay, and that's going to, if we go up to the top, that saves all of that 7.1 million bucks in cap space. Now, that re-extension obviously would create monies in the future pushed down the line, quote unquote. But it's a way, if you want to keep Dawson Knox, that you can probably get a gentleman like him, a player like him, to most likely agree and agree to that, some kind of a restructure. It's usually for longer term. However, it is what it is. So this is the move set that can create plenty of monies for the Buffalo Bills to spend. So there's one, Dawson Knox. I think that is an absolute option. I find it hard to believe that Dawson Knox won't be a Bill. He just seems to fit the Bills culture in Western New York. And I know that doesn't necessarily come into play when owners and GMs are speaking of contracts, but it just seems fitting in this case as much as anybody on that roster. Excuse me. Deion Dawson's pretty much set. I don't think he's even in question. Ed Oliver, somewhat injury prone, right? Obviously after this year when he only played a few games, and then with the level of where he will fit in with Jim Leonard's defensive structure in the 3-4 scheme versus Sean McDermott's is somewhat of a question mark. Some people don't think that he will be an issue at all. Some think he'll be an enormous issue. And then there's others, obviously, in the middle. I think the majority of people that are on one side or the other with Eddie Oliver. I personally don't think that he's a bad fit in any defense. I think he's a phenomenal D lineman, and I think he can make it work either way. So let's say we restructure Eddie Oliver as well. Okay. That'll bring us from, I want to go back to what it was. Okay. Dead cap of 21.5 if we were to let go. 23.9 million this year between his base salary and his bonus monies. So if we were to go and restructure that deal, okay, we're getting down to 12.8 and 900. Now all of a sudden going from $7.4 million over the cap already to start with two restructures of two main guys that are kind of bubblish people. All right. Bubblish settings. Now we got $8.5 million worth of cap space. Now this is going to keep going. We can go through its entirety. If anybody has questions, I can certainly throw this up there. But Spencer Brown, is he one of them? Possibly. He's a big nut. Okay, he's $19.4 million. First of all, you're not going to do anything with Josh Allen. Well, I shouldn't say that. I guess it's possible. But I don't know that he's going to be touched. This year. You want to put Spencer Brown in there as well? if he's willing to do that, I mean, these are people that you obviously don't want to see go, and you want to have for longer than just this 1 year as well. So restructuring is almost like renegotiating. Potentially, you can even add an extension here. Okay. And we can plug in whatever numbers we would like. But if we just roll with what we have, how do we get out of this here? Sorry. We can restructure. It's easier to do this for just argument's sake. And you're down another, what is that? $11 million. So now it brings you up to $19.4 million of cap room. You guys understand what I'm doing here. And I don't think that these moves are completely outlandish to think about. And it's very easy to come up with some cash. So let's get into some of these comments here. Dexy, what's up, brother, man? Cap isn't a worry for me because we can usually get $80 million in cap. If we just, that's true. That's true. And this is kind of what we're getting at. And I think that they absolutely have to do this because if you make your move to fire your head coach and basically fire the entire coaching staff from coordinators down to individualized position coaches, you're making a play. And you're saying that it better be now because this can't be just a simple rebuild, right? So I think that the monies need to be figured out, opened up, and then they actually need to be spent because without the talent, why do what you just did if you don't have what you think is enough talent to move on and get, over the proverbial playoff hurdle or hump and into the Super Bowl. Glad to catch the start of the stream. I was late to the first one this morning. Yeah, no problem. Ethan, how are you, man? I appreciate you coming back in. As always, also congratulations. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that happened earlier on that first video. I appreciate all your help as well and your support. For sure. Ethan, you've been here basically since the beginning as well. The team to worry about is the Patriots. They have about $40 million in cap space available, plus they have 11 draft picks, plus no key free agents leaving. Fair enough. I mean, I always worry about the Patriots, and yes, they're in a good situation, no question. But as far as worry, I mean, I said always worry about the Patriots, but as far as actually worrying about someone, yeah, you need to pay attention to them, but I don't know that that should really solidify your decision making. You know, you play this team twice a year, no question. You'll most likely play them in the playoffs for years to come at some point throughout the playoffs. I think that it's not baseball. You're not playing series, right? Especially in the playoffs. I think baseball gets a little bit more, I don't want to say convoluted, but more particular with how you build a roster to beat your opposition, ones that you know you will be playing in the playoffs. But those playoffs are series-based. It's not one game, and it's multiple. Baseball is a totally different sport, of course, but I think that if you build or you worry about another team's salary cap availability and draft picks too much, you're going to lose sight of what's most important, and that's within your four walls. Because let's call it what it is. The Bills have beaten themselves time and time and time again, especially in the playoffs, in the big games. Rarely do they just get simply outplayed and beat. And I mean no disrespect to the Broncos or the Chiefs over the years. I mean no disrespect whatsoever. But the reality is rarely do the Bills actually get beat. They beat themselves more than anything. So I think looking outside the four walls and across the region and across the conference is not the smartest thing to do. Keep your focus on inside and what you can do. Control your controllables. Nav Shallow, haven't heard from you in a little while. Nice to see you. Bro, the Patriots lost Brady and made the Super Bowl before us. I know we are wasting Josh's career. Nav Shallow, I'm with you, and this is why I'm going through this exercise to show that a lot of money can be made available. You're going to need some buy-in from some of your guys, no doubt. You're going to need some cooperation from some of these players, without question. However, it can be done. It absolutely can be done, and we can come up with quite a bit of money. Speaking of this gentleman right here, Jordan Poyer, he had some wishy-washy words to say with Chris Sims and the NFL on CBS at the Super Bowl just recently. He was kind of peppered to answer a question about what he felt about the firing of Sean McDermott, the hiring of Joe Brady, and he he was being as honest as he can, but I will say that it looked as if, and it seemed as if he wasn't so happy about McDermott leaving. And he did say that if anyone's going to take his job, I guess I'm happy that it's Joe Brady, but I don't think he was too happy with that. And he said, listen, if I'm called back, I want to play football, but if my cleats are being hung up, I'm also happy with the way that I went out. So something to look at. I don't think, my gut would tell me we did not see Jordan Poyer back. But to Nav Shallow's point, you're not kidding. This is why I think we need to get all the money, make all the moves, do whatever we can with the roster, ask them to help, and spend it. You gotta make the play for the big boys right now. You cannot be left wondering what if. I just put out in a small short video earlier, and the thumbnail of this video is Max Crosby. I know he's mentioned that he'd like to play for Vrabel, and to your point, Nav Shallow, and 99.99 as well. The Patriots have a lot of money to spend, and I believe that Crosby's mentioned that he would like to play for Vrabel as well. I don't care. Make the phone call. What's it going to take? Because last offseason, he had mentioned more than once that he'd love to play in Buffalo. And he also has mentioned 100 times that you have a chance to win so long as Josh Allen is under center. He's got his podcast, and he kind of bounces around on other people's podcasts, so he's very visible, and you can hear his snips, his words often. Very easy to find. And he has been more than vocal that Josh Allen is something to be reckoned with as far as he is concerned. So you got to make the move, create the money, and make the phone calls. Make the splash. If the Bills can get Jefferson, excuse me, they can compete for a wild card spot. When you say Jefferson, I think you mean Justin Jefferson, and that's the only way that you think they compete for a wild card spot is with Justin Jefferson? Come on, have a little more faith. If Bills get Jefferson, it's Super Bowl. Hey, man, I would lean more towards Dexy here than I would 99.99. I think they're a playoff contender anyway, no doubt. No question. But, I understand your frustration, 99.99. Our owners are awful. Listen, owners are all extremely good business people, right? And unless they just were born into it and handed down a franchise worth $5 billion. But they're all smart business people. They got to their stature and situation in life not by accident. And I will say that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're sports people. It does not necessarily mean that they're public relations and public speakers. It does not mean that they know what to say and how to say it as far as being good leaders. Just because someone's filthy rich does not mean they're a very good leader. And I'm not questioning Pegula. I'm just saying, based on everything that we've seen here recently, the idea that Pegula is awful, I understand the frustration, man. I do. But I wouldn't go that far, because if he can just allow the smart football people to make decisions, I really do think we should be just okay. Is it time to trade Josh, tank, and rebuild? Absolutely not. This much of a chance. The man is 30, and he has shown zero signs of any decline in any area whatsoever. My answer is absolutely not. You still have as good a chance to go to Super Bowl with Josh Allen as you do any quarterback in the NFL easily, and a much better chance to go to the Super Bowl with Josh Allen than 95, 98, potentially 99% of the team. Put you this way. If Josh Allen is on the Seahawks or the Patriots right now, are those two teams in the Super Bowl? The answer is 100%. And either team that he's on is a heavy favorite going into this weekend. If he's on either one of those teams. Heavy favorite. Wild only delusion. Yeah, I agree. Dawson Knox is one of the better players. Yeah, I agree. He showed some signs there in the beginning of kind of tapering. Now Dalton Kincaid obviously comes out with a bang. He's as good of a receiver, definitely as a tight end, but he's even in the receiver mix as one of the better receivers in the NFL. Statistically, he just missed 5 games, and Dawson Knox absolutely stepped up, which was a great point by Deoxys to use him, which is why we used him as an example here first, because his original $17 million hit is a lot of money for a backup at this moment in time, tight end. And I don't really want to call him a backup. It's kind of like a 1A, right? But that's a lot of money. But at the same token, you kind of want to keep him around too. You kind of do. So let's keep going here. We'll get to a few more of these, and then we're going to continue on with some additional players. While Josh is 30 already, what have we been? Well, yeah, it seemed to have gone pretty quick, hasn't it, Navshell? You're absolutely right. Amen to that. And listen, I'm saying I'm not panicking, meaning there's no way I would say trade him and start over, like the one question. But he is 30. He's been in the league 9 years, right? 8 or 9 years. Yeah, I think 8 years. And the time needs to be now. I mean, he's not getting younger. I was just simply saying that he's certainly not declining or showing any signs of deterioration whatsoever. Just need to either go all in and get Jefferson or tank, otherwise 9-8 next year. So you mean to tell me, Deoxys? Now, I know you've been a fan here and you've been hanging with us for a long time, and I appreciate it. Do you actually think that if they don't get Justin Jefferson and they keep the roster that they have relatively close to the same, that they are 9-8? Okay. Well, right. I mean, I'm tend to lead with Dexy here. Navshell, I don't see us beating the Patriots for the division anytime soon. I disagree with that. I think the Bills can absolutely take the division in this upcoming season. 100%. I agree Bills will be better than Dolphins, but maybe Chiefs, Ravens, and Colts will pass them, and the Bills were 6th this year. Yes, they were. I don't think the Colts are as good as their record showed. I kept saying, I mean, I'm not saying that I knew that it was going to falter when it did, but I kept saying that there's no way that they can last at the pace that they were. And this was way before, even if Daniel Jones stayed healthy. I don't think that I actually thought the Patriots were not going to make the playoffs, and I called them not making the playoffs before Daniel Jones got hurt. I don't think the Colts are up there. Do the Chiefs and Ravens have the chance? Yeah, just like the Bills, they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl at any given year, as long as those two boys are under center. Yeah, I mean, listen, here's where the ownership and the management from the front office comes into play and comes into play large. Okay, I mean, that franchise is ran extremely well. That rebuild that we were talking about just a few minutes ago, yeah, only took 2 years, really. And here they are. I mean, so you can't knock them whatsoever. Ravens are in the same spot as us. Colts have no QB. Oh, yes. Colts have no QB, and Chiefs are in a little rebuild. Correct. I mean, they just got rid of their offensive coordinator, too. I know Andy Reid is big into that, calls the plays and everything, but that was a big shot. I didn't like to see that for him and for them. Josh is slowly digressing. Division window is closed now, and May will only improve once Pats spin to the cap. If he gets additional weapons, I don't see him. Well, you never know. You really never know. When you get a full year of tape and film under someone's belt, and Drake May had a great season, there's just something, and this is not just because he's a Patriot. There's something about Drake May that strikes me as not MVP worthy. I don't know that Drake May is winning games. I don't know that he is. He's proven that to me also in the playoffs, but even before that. But yeah, if you have that kind of money to spend, you should obviously be a better franchise and a better organization from one year to the next without question. But Josh is not digressing. He won the MVP last year, by the way. Josh Allen still has 45 minutes. Yeah, exactly. I'm totally agreeing. Colts fans said the same thing about Andrew Luck, and they wasted a decade with him. Andrew Luck literally retired. How old was Andrew Luck when he retired? How old was Andrew Luck And let's be completely reasonable here. Josh Allen is better than Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck was 29 when he retired. But Josh Allen's better than Andrew Luck. Correct. Very good O-line. Bills are the exact same trajectory as the Colts from 10 years ago. No. Should have traded Luck for picks, but did not. Became irrelevant. I don't know, man. I can't get behind you on that one there. Horace legit should be good at yeah. If he comes back, it's not going to be due to him wanting too much money. I don't believe. I mean, I hope not. I hope that wouldn't come down to him thinking that he's worth more money than he is. So you think the Bills will have to overpay the free agents because of how that press conference went? Is that what you mean? I'm not going to get behind the first statement there. The press conference was less than desirable. I agree with that. 0 Super Bowls in 60 years. Something needs to change. Well, these owners have only owned the franchise for, not even half of the Bills, not even like a third. I mean, they've only owned it for 10 or 11 years, I think. So what change? They haven't owned it for that long. Take it from a Titans fan. We definitely know about bad ownership. Well, listen, there are better owners than others, for sure, in any league, any athletic league. And sometimes the owners can put their weight and shove their weight around enough to either positively impact or completely negatively impact. So I do agree with that. Things have changed. I agree with you. Josh on the Patriots would make the Patriots worse as his. No. Josh on the Patriots does not make the Patriots worse. So 99.99. I know, it seems to me as if you think Josh Allen is just not a guy at all, not a stud, not in the argument of the best, kind of getting all over his ass. The Wiz here. How are you, the Wiz here? I don't believe that I've met you before, so appreciate you being in here. Listening to Joe Brady's interview on WGR this morning, he seemed like he believes the bubble screen game is effective on 3rd and 10 if you plan to give it or to, I think, go for it on 4th down. So I didn't catch the whole thing, but I did see some snippets and read some quotes where he said, I still do like the screen game, and it's not going away. So Bills fans, don't think for 1 second that we will no longer be using the screen game. In which case, I don't think that anybody really has a tremendous argument to say that the Bills shouldn't use their screen game. Now, on 3rd and 10, I'll say I get just as frustrated with a little swing pattern behind the line of scrimmage to Ty Johnson on 3rd and 10 as almost anybody, especially when you get 6 yards and then you punt. So to your point there, I'm in complete agreement. I think that if you know you're going for it on 4th down, if you get any substantial yardage on the 3rd down screen, then the screen doesn't bother me as much. But I believe it was against the Jaguars, if not the Broncos. It might have even been the Broncos. We had that example, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. We got 6 or 7, so it was 4th and 3 or 4 or so, and then we punted. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what in the world, what are the odds that this screen pass gets 10-plus yards? If you're saying you're going to go for it and you think if you get 6 or so, then you're going to go for it regardless. Okay, I can see that. But to actually think that screen pass would get 10-plus and knowing that you're going to punt the ball anyways, then I get a little kind of suspect and questioning the play as well. So I hear you there. How many years now have y'all Bills haters have said the window is closed? Well, I mean, listen, any fan or any group of fans, is usually overly emotional. And I get that. And there are times that I get that way as well. But we have been, as a whole, pretty quick to change our minds. That's what I don't understand, or that's what I don't like, is when we change our minds. Like 1 week, oh my God, it's Joe Brady. It's the worst offensive play calling that I've ever seen. And then the next week it was, Joe Brady's the man, but McDermott doesn't know how to manage the clock in tight games, or McDermott doesn't understand how to play aggressive enough defense when it matters most, which, all these things you can argue on the fly potentially, but it's very odd to me when we have our minds being changed week to week or year to year. I mean, at one point it was Josh Allen is a bum and he's too many turnovers. And then it was, oh my God, Josh Allen's the MVP. I love him. And then it was, we're wasting Josh's career. We need to do something for him now. And now maybe for some it's Josh Allen is the problem. Like, I don't know. We gotta pick one maybe and stay with it. Dexy Gaming, the window being closed. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Sorry. So no Super Bowl means window closed. So I guess every team but two has their window closed. I mean, fair point. Spin, what's up, my brother? Allen digress. He did get votes for. That's my point. This is my point. And he was playing on a broken foot. Well, that's true too. Bills need to go on for Justin. Look how much Brandon Cooks helped. I was extremely, extremely pleased with Brandon Cooks signing. I was happy when he came over. You guys can go back and look at it. And at first I wanted to, really take my time in making my decision and doing some research and watching his route tree and how he was producing earlier in the same season. And then after I did that, I said, you know what, this guy's going to help us. So I will say that I was happy about that, both prior to and then after. Now, did he make a few pretty impactful drops the first few weeks he was around on deep balls that were well thrown and put into the basket, so to speak? Yes, he did. And that was frustrating, no doubt. However, he obviously came up with some really big plays and showed a style of offense that could be run by the Buffalo Bills that they just simply didn't even attempt before he had gotten there. And that you cannot argue. And if they did, it was one-off onesie twosies. It was not built into the type of playbook that they had rolled out in any given week until Brandon Cooks came around. So for that, in that alone, I have to say that I appreciate what he was able to do and help the Bills accomplish. He was a big part of that. And we've said this now multiple times. He also was public about wanting to come back to Buffalo next year. He had made that point clear. Now, does that mean Justin Jefferson could not help a team more than Brandon Cooks? No, that's not what that means. Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, is probably the best receiver in the NFL. I like him more than Ja'Marr Chase, personally. I think if Justin Jefferson and Ja'Marr Chase has switched roles and where their careers started and where they've been, I think Justin Jefferson's numbers would be just as silly, if not even, I don't want to say sillier, but or worse, but I think they'd be even better. And that's tough to say. I just like Jefferson as a receiver better, but I tend to like the bigger receivers. If Poyer comes back, it'll be in a backup role and just to go for another shot at the ring. Well, that's true. I mean, and that could be what he did as far as guiding Cole Bishop. You can't go unnoticed, right? We can't not talk about what he did for Cole Bishop. Were his numbers excellent? Was he picking balls off left and right and stuffing the run for negative plays? No, not consistently. But what he did for Cole Bishop was enormous. Josh is top 10, maybe even top 5, but his cap number is too high. That is why it is better long-term to trade him now. Bills could get a couple first-rounders for him now, but not if he digresses more. Okay, so here's the question then, Deoxys. Let's say Josh is number 5 in your mind, right? I mean, because if you're going to say he's 6 through 10, I just can't even continue the conversation. But let's say he's number 5. Please put it into the chat, who are your top 4 quarterbacks? Let's look at QBR. Okay. Okay. I mean, we can pull it up. I can't think it's if you're a Bills fan. Oh, also on Cooks, that was a catch. Well, I agree. I absolutely agree. I also agree with this. You can. I'm not a huge fan of QBR only, but I'm also not a fan of stats only. Although I'm also an enormous fan of stats. So I think it has to be both. I think it has to be gameplay, who you're talking about, what you're talking about. Situational football is totally different. And what they can do with their legs. That's also an enormous thing. Evading sacks. I mean, that's not a stat. But we all know there's a handful of quarterbacks that just simply won't get sacked. And others that will in the same situation. It's not going to affect your QB rating. But if you can evade sacks, move around in the pocket, whether you take off and scramble or just simply extend a play and make it non-negative play, there's a lot of weight that should be put into that. Is there not? A lot of weight. So QBR, good guide, but definitely not everything at all. All right, let's get back into this a little bit. So let's continue down the line. Do we restructure Deion Dawkins? I don't believe so. 24 and a half to 15 and a half. Could save some money, but I don't think that that's exactly where we need to be. Your dead cap here would be 26 million, but obviously he's not going anywhere, so that's not really a necessary thing to do in the event that you cut him pre-6-1. Joshua Palmer. What do you all feel about Joshua Palmer? Because I tell you what I feel about Joshua Palmer, and that is get him out of here. I'm not saying he's a bad player. And we can make any excuse in the world for him. We can make an excuse for the team. Whatever it is, okay, whatever it is, Joshua Palmer just simply, it didn't work here in Buffalo. And Joshua Palmer is owed $11.7 million this upcoming season. And if they cut him, 11-2. So it's a lot of money. Either way you slice it. Now, if we cut post 6-1, you see this number, this dead cap number goes to 6.4 versus 11.2. I'm not saying that you just launch the guy post June 1st and pay him $6 million to go get another contract as well. But I'm hoping, and I'm not very confident, but I'm hoping that this 9.6 would be willing to be covered by someone. Because if you trade him pre, you still pay him 6.4. If you trade him post, you pay him 1.6. But then that team will have to come up with, a good portion of that difference. So I'm hoping that we find some trade bait for Joshua Palmer, because I just don't think it's going to work out with him in a Bills uniform. That's my opinion. And this is one of the spots that I think that we're kind of screwed in either way. Gregory Rousseau just got his extension. I think you leave him alone. It's quite all right. No big deal. Taron Johnson, another big question mark. Couple reasons. You can think what you want about how he played this year, which I would give him, a C grade. And that's not watching every play and going back and doing the film throughout the whole season just yet. But off the top of my head, he's not what he once was. I think we can all agree on that, right? And secondly, I'm worried about his fit with Jim Leonard's style of defense. Not playing a lot of nickel. If we're going to go to the 3-4, then we're not going to be playing a lot of nickel, to which Taron Johnson obviously was predominant in that role. A nickel corner, slot corner, whatever you want to call it. I also think that he's at this point aging. He's 30. but I'll take a quarterback at 30 years old a lot easier, or I'll give a lot more leeway to physically than I would a slot corner. So I think, and I could be way off here, but it does seem to me as if it's starting to rear its head for Taron Johnson. And in terms of being on his last section of his career. How long that will last, I don't know, but that's my thought on Taron Johnson. So let's look at his contract. Cut pre-6, $9.5 million. All right, you gotta give them both here. If you cut him post 6-1, it's 2.7. At the worst, let's say you can trade him. Let's see. Prey would still be, yeah, okay. So let's say you can trade. Well, I don't know if you can trade him. Let's just say worst case scenario, we cut him. All right, that just cut into our cap space. However, it's $2.5 million versus the alternative for him, which was the 11 million, right? 11.4. So I'm going to stick there. And then we can add whoever that may be. Matt Milano, I think, is another interesting one. I think that Matt Milano still has some football left, although originally I didn't think that he was going to fit with Jim Leonhard's approach and scheme and style of defense. However, the more that I think about this, I actually believe that we can keep Matt Milano around, and I think that it can work. And I think that he's absolutely one, because remember now, he just took a pay cut. He just took a pay cut, so I think he wants to be in Buffalo. And if we can restructure him and go from 11 million down to, we'd have to actually add something because he's a complete, yeah, we'd probably have to extend him. I don't know what it would, prorated bonus, even if this is, yeah, these are like minimums, I believe, for veterans. Okay, that's going to save us 4 million or so. I think that should have added, yeah. Okay, so that's going to give us $3 to $4 million right there with Matt Milano, and I think he can stay around and actually provide something. Curtis Samuel is another one. Benford were good, I believe. Joey Bosa. Well, what's Joey Bosa? Michael Hoyt. I'm leaving the man right there unless he wants to restructure himself. But what was that? Yeah. Okay. See, I think we might be getting a little overzealous with the Michael Hoyt thing. But Joey Bosa is it's just simply, excuse me, a free agent. I don't know what this is. I thought Joey Bosa was just a legitimate free agent. See, I think that might be off. Hold on. Joey Bosa is, in my opinion, someone that does not play for the Bills next year. I don't think he's going to stay around. I don't think they're going to keep him around. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, he's an unrestricted free agent for 2026. I don't know unless he wants to play for less, but I don't think that he will, and I don't think that that's going to work. I think Joey Bosa gets, whoops. Yeah, I don't know how he's getting that 1.8 million. I got to look into that. Let's keep it going though. To James Cook, obviously he just signed. Terrell Bernard, interesting. Terrell Bernard is only $5.3 million this year because of the fact that I think he was heavy. Where'd he go? There he is, 2, 3, 7. Yes. So his non-proration guaranteed money is already set into place. So Terrell Bernard is another question. I don't know what you guys think. You got to tell me here. Is Terrell Bernard, I actually think, as much as I was frustrated with him throughout the year for not tackling very well, we might have spoken about this morning. If we did, forgive me. But I think that Terrell Bernard would actually fit this Jim Leonard style 3-4 defense better than he did McDermott's. I really do. I think that Terrell Bernard could be a bright light here. If he can get healthy and be healthy and maintain his health, I think he actually might turn things around for himself being in this type of system. I really honestly do. But if we did Hoy, we got to get rid of Bosa. Christian Benford is there. What are we going to do with Curtis Samuel? I think he's also one that is not going to be around. So either cut or a trade post. That's going to save us some money as well. What are we up to now? We're already up to $48.5 million, by the way, for 2026. And then we haven't touched Josh. Haven't went to any of the other gentlemen here. Bernard could be something here. I don't know if that would work out in his favor because he just signed his extension in this offseason and for some pretty big money. Dalton Kincaid is almost, what I heard, is almost definitely going to be picked up for his after his rookie deal contract, so that for that 5th year. I don't think it's happened yet, but we'll see what that means. So that would more be an extend. Let's see. For the 26th, it would more so be, yeah. But then that means we can wait. I can't get in there. Why is that? So if we, okay, there it is. So if we had a signing bonus, I'm making this number up here. 26, 4 years, no. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that extends him. We're up to $48 million. The thing with Kincaid, and I don't know if he stays healthy, he's an absolute beast. This whole PCL thing, so it came out that he was nursing and injured from the PCL that happened 2 years ago, which has kept him banged up over the last 2 years, multiple occasions. I think it was 3 or 4 games in 24 that he missed, and then 5 games in 25. When he's on the field, he literally produces more yards per route run than anybody, or third most behind Jackson Smith-Njigba and one other, Puka Nacua, I believe. So he's literally third in the NFL for all receivers in yards gained per route run. So you can't argue that. His production is out of this world when he's healthy, when he's on the football field. That's the only question mark, is his health. And he has the PCL thing, and he decided that, I guess, he's not going to need surgery in the offseason. That's what came out a few days ago. Now, my understanding also is that this PCL thing type of injury is something that can actually just heal itself up without injury, or without surgery. However, I'm not a doctor and I don't know enough about that injury. It just seems crazy to me that he was like at the Pro Bowl and participating. I mean, I love me some Dalton Kincaid on the football field. I thought that was a little odd, although it didn't seem like he was really giving it too much thought. Let's look. Yeah, Connor McGovern. Restructure the heck out of that thing. Keep the man. Keep him going. Keep you potentially, right? We need. Whoa, what happened? Potentially, we needed him on this. It's either him and or David Edwards is kind of the question marks. Kind of the question mark there. Connor McGovern void, so we're going to extend. There we go. And how much is that base salary? That's going to be a big base salary, isn't it? Looking at Connor McGovern's market value. Share this tab instead. Let's see what they say. They say Connor McGovern, his market value is. Get this thing out of here. Market value. 3 years, $48 million. It's $16 million a year. So if we come back, 16 million a year, and that's with nothing else. So I don't know how they can shut this to. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of pushing this along, try to figure out how they can make that happen. But that wouldn't be for 2026. Yeah, yes, it would. Yeah, okay. Tyler Bass. Well, Brandon Beane has actually come out and said that Tyler Bass is not an issue and that he should be healthy and ready to go. Completely healthy and ready to rock. So I don't think, and honestly, if they made the Super Bowl, I believe that they were Tyler Bass would have been the Bills kicker in the Super Bowl. Taylor Rapp, yeah, I'm just gonna cut. Yep. Daquan Jones, I think he stays. I actually do. I think he's going to be a good backup in that role. Ty Johnson, I hope he stays as well. AJ Epinesa, I'm thinking, I don't know. I really don't know. But these guys getting down here are kind of like pennies when it comes to, a $301 million. So there's $45 million, and we really haven't gotten crazy figuring out how to do these moves. Anything that you guys want to go after or go over, let me know. We can take a look at it. We're going to get back into some of these where we left off. If we trade Allen, it's 86 million dead cap. But no one's trading Josh Allen. Stafford, May, Jackson, Goff are better than Allen now. Maybe not Goff, and Jackson runs too much, but Josh runs a lot too. Injuries possible. Injuries absolutely possible, and if he continues to run this way, that is correct. I personally give him 3, maybe 4 more years of playing football this way, and in that 4th year, he's going to turn into more. He's going to have to if he wants to keep playing longer, which maybe he won't, but he's going to have to turn into more of a pocket guy because he's not going to be able to get away with the physicality, and I don't disagree with that. But Drake May is not even close to being as good as Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, you can make the argument. I still would take Josh Allen in a heartbeat. Josh Allen in the playoffs, minus the Denver game, is as good as a quarterback has ever played football in the playoffs. Jared Goff, not even close. So, just for you, though, and the reason that I asked you this earlier is because I wanted to see who you thought was better based on your determination of Josh Allen not being one of the top because of their cap hit. So here we go. Here's Matthew Stafford. So he's better than Josh Allen, but he's got a $48 million cap hit. And you're saying that he's not as Josh Allen's not that good because of the fact that his cap hit is so high. So, and that's 48.3 this year for the Rams, or this next year for the Rams. The dude has made $408 million. Isn't that crazy? Okay, next up. Who is next? Well, Drake May, we obviously know. You want to see something? You want to see something? Here we go. Can you see what I'm typing? Watch this, boys and girls. Because I've done this before, and I know what this is. Watch. Just watch. So although I love you, 99.99 Deoxys, I do. You've been in here. Love having the conversation. Appreciate the support. And please keep on coming back. I got to tell you that your point earlier saying that Josh Allen is not top 5 quarterback, or if he is, he's 5th, because of his enormous cap hit. Then you're telling me Lamar Jackson is better than him when he has a $74.5 million cap hit. It's not really standing up too tall right now, is it? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. So that one, unfortunately, does he have 2 R's in his name? Unfortunately, doesn't really check out, does it? The Lamar Jackson thing. Oh boy. And there's your boy Jared Goff. So Deoxys, you gotta get your stuff together if we're gonna be making statements like that, man. You got to. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be nasty. That's not who I am. But the reality is you cannot be bringing up Josh Allen not being that good because of his look at this. He's the third least on your list. You can't be bringing that stuff up and then these numbers come out. I love you, man. I do. Josh Allen's traded. Sell the team. Thank you. Goff, Mayo, you're delusional. Now, I'm not necessarily an Allen fan, but having those above him is wild. Agreed. Totally agree. So Josh could be third after Stafford in May. You got to get May out of here. But his cap number, Deox, your comments were before we went through this. Okay. Only QB that's with Allen is Mahomes. I think Mahomes is beginning to digress due to running too much and is already worse than Allen. Maybe Stafford could be argued, but I don't think the others are. Top 2 MVP candidates, including May and Stafford. Difference is that May has a low cap number, which means the Patriots window is wide open. Rams are in a similar boat with cap space, though. But the Rams are a phenomenal football team. And look what they did. Talk about rebuilding. They just won, and they went to a complete and utter rebuild and got back to the Super Bowl quicker than the Patriots did by a long shot. So the Rams know what they're doing over there, and they just pay people, right? Everyone's saying, "Oh man, they just pay." They got the best wide receiver group. They got one of the best quarterbacks. They got a phenomenal defensive front. I mean, come on. Love the AI Buffalo logo and appreciate that you read all the comments and respond to them. Yeah, man, absolutely. Oh, this thing in the background? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't do it. Obviously, you're right. It is AI. Pretty cool. I'm actually, like I said the other day, I'm getting some a graphic designer to try to redo our logo and come up with some borders and backgrounds and stuff. Top 5 all time. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Patrick Mahomes, Troy Aikman, queue up Super Bowl wins. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, if that's how, I mean, listen, everybody's opinion is their opinion, and they are allowed to get to their opinion however they seem fit. So if it's Super Bowls, then there you go. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stafford. Oh, and by the way here, yes, I appreciate you saying that because I would certainly love to continue to do that. People that are in here hanging out with us, let's chat, baby. It's not just me talking to nobody, right? I talked to Purdy. Okay. Only thing is I'm not sold on Purdy maybe as much as you are. Good quarterback, solid quarterback. I just don't know if Purdy's going to go out and win a football game. Put it all on his shoulders and win a football game. I know he's had some big nights in the regular season and such, but I don't know. I don't know if I can get over that hurdle in my mind yet. I do think that May is higher up on this list. Well, you know what? I don't know. Darnold might have to be higher than Mayfield in my mind. Darnold might even be number 6 for me. Because now this is 2 years in a row, and I'm not really a huge Darnold guy, but this is 2 years in a row with like the most wins in the regular season. I know he kind of shit himself last year in the postseason. I totally get it. And then the last game of the regular season, which is why I didn't really think extremely, extremely highly of him. But now it's 2 different teams as well. And if he wins this, here, put it this way: if Darnold wins this game, he goes a much higher up on my list than if May wins the game, how high he goes. I don't know if that's right or good or bad, but that's me. Jim Kelly's the best QB to never win a Super Bowl. Dan Marino. And I'm a Bills fan. Yeah, Brady. Brady's easy. And I hate to say that, but it's real. At least Kelly made it to 4. True. Josh has not even made it to. I mean, Kelly did make it to 4. Fair. Drake May's played bad in the playoffs. His defense is gosh, 100%. Anybody that says anything other than that is just delusional. And I don't. I'm sorry, delusional. I don't care that they've played the top 3 out of the 5. 3 out of the top 5 defense. I really don't care because they've scored no points. Drake May has been sacked more than anybody ever in the first 3 games of a playoff season. And he's done 0. He fumbled the ball 4 times in one game, I believe. He's been sacked 5 times a game, 15 times. He hasn't played good football. I'm just saying. Drake May has not won these games. I realize that he called his own QB keep on that naked bootleg on his own. Okay, very good play. Can't take it away from him. Very good play. That doesn't do it for me because they were going to win that game anyway. Wow. No bones about it's back in. Josh will be able to transition into more of a passer as he ages. He takes great care of his body and will be able to run well into his 30s. I don't disagree with you, but I do think that if he wants to play like a Tom Brady until he's 42 or whatever the hell it is, he's not going to be able to play the football that he plays now. But I definitely agree he's got years left of playing this style of football without question. Oh, right. Okay. Well, yeah, QBR, like we said, is one piece to an enormously large puzzle, and that does not tell the whole story. Good piece, but not the whole puzzle. Way more games doing injuries than that. Yes, he does. He's fragile. Lamar Jackson is absolutely fragile. But Pat smoked the Rams. Well, okay, but you know what? That is so crazy because you know what? You can play these games like the Panthers shut out the Rams, didn't they? And then the Bills beat the Panthers 30-6. So does that mean that the Bills are better than the Rams? I don't think so. And the Pats also I think lost. Let me make sure here, but I'm pretty sure in the beginning of the season the Patriots lost to Pittsburgh. They did. They lost to Pittsburgh. And, I'm sorry, they also lost to the Raiders, who have the number 1 pick in the draft. Does that mean the Patriots suck? No. Absolutely not. It does not. Hard White, 716. Hard White. How are you? I don't think that I've spoken to you before. Appreciate you coming in here, Hardlight. And if you're not subscribed, please do and like the video. Tell all of your friends we're gonna be around. We're not going anywhere. New channel over here for the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. Come hang with us. Dexy Gaming. I agree. Josh has been on Lamar. No shit. Agreed with that. And I'm a big Dre May guy. He was my QB2 in the draft behind Jaden. Oh, hated him going to the Patriots, but his fans are putting him higher than he should. 100%. And you know who else is doing it, Dexy? The NFL and all of the media. Turn on the NFL Network if you don't have it on right now and tell me how many commercials you'll see of Drake May and some QR code, and I forget exactly what they're trying to show you or do. It's Drake May only. It's not the quarterbacks of the Super Bowl. It is Drake May only on the NFL Network. And they do not have the equivalent commercial for Sam Darnold. So the push is real. The push is real. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's. I'm sorry. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play football. Cheating or not. Drake May's about to set a record for the most turnovers in a playoff by quarterback. No bones about it. I would be thrilled. Wouldn't that just be fantastic? If that's what we witness and that's what we watch on Sunday, I would just. I'm not saying I'd be as happy as if the Bills were in the Super Bowl, but that would just make my weekend. Oh, boy. Love to see it. Love to see it. Just because someone is good, just because someone has a good season, it doesn't guarantee the next season. That's 100% accurate. You are what your record says you are. That is also true. However, the point that I was getting at, I don't know if you're talking to me with that comment, but the point that I was getting at is just because you beat a team does not mean that you're better than that team that beat the team that you lost to, or vice versa. That's kind of confusing, but the way that it works is there's a lot of weirdness that happens in the NFL. It's certainly an enormous parity league. They love it. We love it. We do the same. We keep coming back because of it. Patriots are guaranteed regression next season. Well, it's pretty tough to do what they did this year, without question. Drake May could go the way of either Mahomes or Jane Daniels. Yeah, he can get injured. He could have a sophomore slump like a lot of people do. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's probably a higher percentage chance that he actually has somewhat of a digression than building on or having a better year than he did this year based on, history. My assumption is that he has a better chance of actually going backwards a little bit. I mean, I don't wish that upon anybody, really, if it's going to ruin someone's career or something like that. But I really think that percentage-wise, he probably has a better chance of doing slightly less than what he did this year. Breaking news, Golden State. There's been a lot of NBA action today, huh? The Golden State Warriors are trading Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield, the Atlanta Hawks, for Kristaps Porzingis. Wild trade. Oh, just two for one. Wild trade just happened for NBA. Wow. I was actually going to bring that up. It took me a little while to get on here because I was watching the double overtime New York Knicks game against the Denver Nuggets, and the Knicks really came up big and sealed that game, and that was good to see because they went on a little lull here about 2-3 weeks ago, and since then they're on an 8-0 run. But we're Knicks fans. I'm a Knicks fan, and it was really good to see. But there's been a bunch of big trades. The whole James Harden thing, man, the dude has got to stop. Just cut it the hell out, James Harden. If you are the only consistent and common denominator in a situation where there's a problem, and it's happened this many times, then you are the problem, James. It's not everybody else on the planet who's the idiot, and you're perfect. Can't be. Just simply can't be. Sub, bell, like all. Yes, please. Absolutely. Keep it coming, baby. Deoxys understands. He gets it. He or she gets it. That's what we need. I need the subscribe, and I need the like of the video, and I need you to tell everybody and put the notification bell on because we're not slowing down. Absolutely not. Is not your favorite currently playing? Oh, I missed one. We could get Jefferson. Yeah, it's possible. He a Pats fan, right? It absolutely is possible that we could get Drake or Justin Jefferson. I don't think it's a good possibility, but it's a possibility. Let's take a look at Justin Jefferson's situation. So $39 million cap hit next year for the Vikings. However, this is what the Bills would be responsible for if they were to work a trade. Now, this is on top of what to me seems likely of like 3 first-round draft picks or something crazy. But look at that. 2026, 1.17. This is to the Vikings. This $7.5 million here, that's up to the Vikings. This $500 million, okay, would, or 500,000 would be, on the new team or the Bills. Then the big baggage comes later on. So they obviously they really pushed out the heavy base salaries towards the end of the contract, and being that it was a 4-year deal, they were 1, 2, 3, 4 with an out. I thought this was one extra year, 24, 25, 26, 27. So yeah, it was basically, it's a 5-year deal. So they're able to push this signing bonus out evenly over 5 years, which is the max, by the way, that a team can spread a signing bonus out. So however long the term is, you can divvy up your signing bonus for the length of the term of the contract with a max of 5 years. So if it's a 7-year deal, you can spread the signing bonus out 5 years. If it's a 3-year deal, you can only spread the signing bonus out 3. But the signing bonus can be spread out to only hit your cap. Even though you're paying the money up front, it's only going to hit your cap, 20% if it's a 5-year deal as compared to what it would as an upfront number. So the idea of spreading that thinner happens a lot, but in the case of I believe it was AJ Brown or Jalen Waddle, I forget, the base salaries remained extremely low because of the fact that the signing bonus was so high. So it's a game, and the GMs and the agents and everybody, they play it for whatever's best for the situation and the body and the organization. But they do their best to keep playing. Excuse me. They do whatever they can, and splitting out that signing bonus is obviously beneficial to almost everybody. Player gets the money up front, but it doesn't hurt the organization on an annual salary cap basis. And then you have your option bonuses, of course, which give a team the ability to exercise the current or future years of contracts by paying a bonus. Really, is kind of what you'll see here over on the right-hand side. Now, the option bonuses are like the signing bonuses as well, which are somewhat prorated, up to the same, a max of five seasons. So, he's next year $25 million without a restructure or a re-sign, but this year it cost Minnesota nothing. Maybe they go, oh, you know what? We don't have, we don't have our guy under center. So are we really going to pay Justin Jefferson $25 million, 29, and then 33? And then 33, when maybe we should look at, because JJ McCarthy's not the guy, or maybe they still think he is, but maybe we should start looking at kind of not a whole rebuild, but finding our quarterback and getting some big time draft allocation or draft assets for Justin Jefferson before he's not worth all the money on the planet Earth. It's possible because he's still young as hell too. I mean, he's 27, not 23, but he's 27, and he still has a lot of time and a lot of production. So it is possible. Again, not likely, but possible. Okay, Dexy, is that the take? Like, is that the talk? I'm sorry. I know he said he wanted out, and they said, yeah, no problem, right? But I didn't know that Minnesota was a leading candidate. I mean, hell, him and Ant-Man, that'd be pretty crazy. That would be nice for you, right? You'd be excited about that or no? As a T-Wolves fan, curious. Yeah, and or just doing what we kind of just showed, right? We were just showing if you restructure people enough and then you have a good draft, then you can go out and make one. There's other moves to make as well to relieve or give yourself even more cap room. But with the small exercise that we just did, we're up to $45 million in cap space with the restructures and re-signings and things that we did. So they're going to get much more in the weeds than I just did in 40 minutes. So they'll probably come up with $60, $70, $80 million and maybe make a couple of splashes in free agency and or trade markets, and then try to draft. So depending on what they do free agent wise or trade wise, I would think that they're going to try to get some things done prior to the draft. Now, a lot of times it's more beneficial financially for someone to trade somebody or cut them after June 1st, which doesn't help the before the draft idea. But if you can make your determination or make your splashes pre-draft, then you can draft differently based on the moves that you've made via the free agent wire or the trade block. So I'm hoping that they get their butts in motion if they're going to make or attempt to make one of these big splashes, whether it's Jefferson or whether it's the other person that you saw in this thumbnail right here, Mr. Max Crosby. From ESPN. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, boy. Hold on a second. Jay Glazer from ESPN was on a podcast, and he says that Max Crosby will most likely not even be on the Raiders roster come draft time. He literally said that he thinks Max Crosby is out this time. It's not a joke. It's not a ploy to get more money this time because he got his extension. But if you can see here, that's 30, 29, not much of this. They did not go the signing bonus route. This is what I'm saying. All these contracts are different. So this is all base salary. This is the new team, if he gets traded, is eating this at least. Okay? At least. They can extend it. They can restructure it. But maybe Max Crosby says, no, I don't know how this conversation went, but Max Crosby could have said, I don't want all this money up front. I don't want 30 million to 40 million up front. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to blow it. I'd rather just get a nice even chunk here over the next 5 years and pay me that way because I don't want to blow it. Or the Raiders say, we're not writing a $40 million check one time, plus your $30 million salary or whatever it would have been, if you minused out the signing bonus. So they all look different. In this case, the upfront money stays with the team. So I really don't think that the Las Vegas Raiders knew, or I don't think that they were confident that Max Crosby was going to stay throughout his contract. I think the Las Vegas Raiders knew that he was more than likely not going to last. Therefore, they're not going to give him signing bonus money because it's up to them. They pay it. They pay it up front. And it hurts their cap over whatever said period that they wanted to spread that out. They cannot push that on to the team that he leaves to, which in this case, they were only responsible for, what is this, $5.2 million between the 2 years worth of the 2.6. That's how the game works. So I think that shows me that they were not confident that Max Crosby was actually going to stay there. Because you notice the other one with Justin Jefferson, there was like $7.4 million a year for 5 years as a signing bonus. So whatever that is, 38 million or something like that combined, right? 36 and change maybe. Here, 5.2. That's what they do. They play the game. The Raiders absolutely knew that he was not going to stay there long term. Who played with Joe Brady before? I'm not sure who you meant. Sorry, Hard White. I'm sure we're losing a lot of players. Yeah, it's going to happen. There are absolutely going to be plenty of people, plenty of men on that roster, personnel that were there for this 2025 season that will not be there for 2026. Without question. May already better than who? No bones. Vrabel's coaching success is based on circumstance. Both his best years came on the heels of very easy schedules. Well, yes, I think Vrabel's going to be a great coach. I do. I think he already is a very good coach. I like his demeanor. I like his game management. I like his clock management. I'm not inside the walls, but I like the way that he has about him. I think he's going to be fantastic, quite honestly. Regular season wins do not matter other than getting to playoff seeding. Yeah, all that matters is winning Super Bowls. Sure. Oh, here we go. If Patriots lose to Hawks, it's a waste of season for Pats. Would the Bills say that? Would the Jets say that right now? Just a question. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. a pretty bold statement. We get him. Hope we get him. Max Crosby or Justin Jefferson? I don't think that both of them are in the cards. No, you made it to a Super Bowl. This shows Soda should tear it all down. They're usually the worst team in the division for years to come. Well, yeah, I mean, they're almost there. They got a great, very good new head coach. So they have that going for them. They have some young talent. They obviously have a good wide receiver core, especially if you add on Addison to that, right? I just think that quarterback is not the answer. I think he's kind of a loony bin. It's between Timberwolves and Heats right now. Warriors are probably out of the running after that trade that they just did. Oh, that's right. Who did they I think I just saw that. Was that just tonight? Oh, the one that you were just talking about. Yes, right. I was going to say, I just heard about that because you told me. But there was another pretty big trade about, what time is it, 11? Like 3 hours ago, wasn't there? I think there was in the NBA. Think Boston can make it with no Tatum? I know Brown has been balling up. I don't think so because what happened to them. You know, the Knicks took them out last year. And I don't think the Knicks are necessarily an NBA championship caliber team, especially last year. I actually like them more this year with Mike Brown as a coach. But and actually like some of their other pieces on the bench, although our coach last year and for many, many years prior, Tom Thibodeau did not allow his bench to play basketball. Their starters led the league in minutes played by like an enormous amount. And now Mike Brown's sitting guys down for the night. He's giving everybody playing time, trying to prolong their, energy meters throughout the season and deep into the playoffs, hopefully. And I think that was a part of the Knicks' demise last year. But I think that a big part is because Tatum went down, and I believe there was still the Knicks had to win another game or two without him, right? I think it was in game 3 or something like that. It might have been a different story. So I don't see Boston being able to pull that off without Jason Tatum. Max Crosby is going to the Patriots. That is what he did. He has absolutely mentioned that he would like to play for Mike Vrabel, 100%. But he's also been quoted a million times saying, I would like it in Buffalo, and that Josh Allen is an absolute freak show and that you always have a chance to win, and a very good chance to win, as long as Josh Allen's on the field for your team. It was last year in the Eastern divisional round. Well, the second round of the playoffs, right? Or was it the first round? I can't forget. I can't remember. He tore his Achilles, ruptured his Achilles tendon, and he hasn't played. He hasn't come back yet. Well, Boston might be able to. Yeah, they might be able to get there. Right now, though, there's 20 games or so left in the season, right? If it were to happen right now, the Knicks are on a heater. I would put the Knicks up against anybody, including Detroit, right at this moment. But there's a lot more basketball left. And is Tatum not going to be back? Is that what it is? Was that ruled? I'm not paying enough attention to it like I do football. But if he's out. Yeah, I don't see Boston going to the finals. Okay. Thank you for that. All right, that's what I was just asking. Sorry, I was a little late. Cavs are good again. Oh, Cavs are good. Cavs are absolutely good. They got a really good young roster. Raiders are tanking. We'll be glad to trade Crosby to pass for multiple picks, which the Pats have. Yeah, listen, that Raiders team, if Clint Kubiak goes out there and then they get this kid from Wisconsin, along with another couple picks if they get rid of Max Crosby, yeah, that could be something to be reckoned with. Yes, correct. That is true. Yep, from Westchester County, New York. Go Seagulls. But at least you made it to the Super Bowl. It's true. You make it to the Super Bowl, right? Like I'd rather go to the Super Bowl and lose. I know a lot of people are like, I'd rather not even make the playoffs. I don't agree with that at all. You got to give yourself a chance to win before you win. After watching the Bills lose 4 Super Bowls in a row, I would say yes. A loss in the Super Bowl would be a waste of the season. See, I'm totally different. I shouldn't say that. It would still might be a waste of a season, but I would still rather get there and lose than come nowhere close to even sniffing a Super Bowl. Oh, so you're locking in Charlotte, Boston, and Detroit, and then you don't know between. Oh, see, I'd put both of those teams in the Final Four right there that you have on the screen, and I'd probably go with Detroit. And hearing that if Tatum is back for the playoffs, I'd go with Detroit and Boston instead of Charlotte. If you don't even have a playoff game in 5 years and a whole new team make it to a Super Bowl, think I would have hope. No, if you didn't even have a playoff game in 5 years, a whole new team make the Super Bowl, think I would have hope. I got you. I understand. Does Harden sell, or does he lock in? I wouldn't put it past him to do either one. I think when he's on the court, he probably plays pretty hard. But I also don't. I don't know. I'm over him. Tough for me to say, I guess, but I'm just over the guy. I just don't like him. I really don't. Not a fan, especially after what he's doing. Enough's enough. But that's part of the reason why I don't like the NBA, and I really never have. Well, I don't want to say never have. Forgive me for the saying. That's not what I meant at all. Why I haven't liked them in a while is because it's all, I'm just going to determine where I'm playing. I'm going to force my way to go play with my buddies. And that basically happened with the LeBron shit. However, 15 years ago. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand the lack of defense at times. I can't stand how the inconsistencies with the refs in terms of what's a foul and what's not. I know they're trying their best to challenge fouls and get assisted replay and all this other shit like all these other sports are, but it's just gotten a little soft for me. I like it. When I was growing up in the 90s, when in the playoffs, you better watch the hell out if you go into the paint because your head's going to get taken off. And if there's no blood, probably not a foul. Now, listen, a foul's a foul. I mean, I'm not saying that full contact is the sport of basketball, but I just don't like the game that it's evolved to. And I coach my kids' basketball teams. I mean, they're young, they're 11 and 9. I played college basketball as well. I just think it's changed, and not for my taste. Not for my taste. A lot of these sports are changing big time, and I'm not a huge fan of some of it, specifically the NBA. College basketball I can get behind, even though that's with the NIL monies, and I'm not saying I disagree with the NIL and the kids making money. I think they should make money if they're bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars for their colleges. But it's all just changing the world, changing the landscape of things, and it's kind of tough to see. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, not well. But it depends on what. I think it depends on Donovan. I think when he is on, there's nobody. I don't know. Is there anybody better? Like that man can do it. But I also love what's their power forward, kind of a young guy, Evan Mobley. Is he a center or a power forward? I don't know. I love him. I wish he would come out of his shell. I keep hearing and seeing things like this is his chance. It's a breakout. It's this. I mean, obviously he's making a ton of money, but I think he's got it in him. But I haven't really seen him come out of his shell and consistent. I think he can. Yo, Deox, yes, thank you, sir or ma'am. I'm going to sleep too. It's freaking midnight. I can't even believe it's this late. I did not even mean to stay up and do this late. Listen, end of the night here, boys and girls, is the reality, which is the Bills can very easily muster up themselves plenty of tens of millions of dollars in order to spend this offseason, plus the draft. What will they go after? If they want to make a splash, my opinion, they need to make it quickly. Get it done. Just like we said with Jim Leonard, if you want him, you better go freaking get him. I'm pleased that they went and got him a day or so later. They didn't allow anybody else to snag him up. That said, you have to make this work because I think the draft is going to go one of two ways. It's going to go wide receiver centric early, unless they make a move in the trade or free agent market. Then they can go defense early, linebacker, edge, the joker position, kind of a mixed role, hybrid between outside linebacker and or D-edge, slash, right? A little bit of both. Maybe a safety look. But when the GM has come out and promised the whole entire world that he's going to be making changes, basically, and going after some crazy shit in the wide receiver room, I don't know that the draft is enough to say you're doing some crazy shit. And even if you think that it is, well, then what are you going to do with your defense under a brand new scheme? So maybe the splash is defensively, and he can get away. If he signs Max Crosby and not Justin Jefferson, I think that he'll get a pass from the Bills Mafia. But that being said, it's just so much easier to go into a draft understanding that you've already made your big piece moves non-draft related. Not all teams will be willing to do this pre-June 1st. However, I think that the attention and the effort needs to be put in. So the money will be there. They can pretty much do whatever the hell they want to do. Honestly, they're not going to be at a lack of money to sign any one of these boys. Now, are they going to want to give up 3 first-round draft picks for Justin Jefferson? That's the question, right? That's debatable either way, I'm sure. That'll be up to them. But the money really won't be the issue in my mind. They can make plenty of moves, and I think the people that they have on that team are more than willing to talk through some options in order to stay on that roster and in that locker room and continue down the path because they're so freaking close to that Super Bowl. So that's my ending for this evening. Appreciate all of you. Thank you again. As always, love everybody. Appreciate you. We're going to keep rolling, baby. It's the offseason. A lot going on. Like, subscribe, do the whole deal. Tell everybody. Appreciate you. Everybody have a great evening. We will see you soon.